All right, that's that. Dolphin season over with a loss. Poor loss to the Jets. Very poor game. The energy wasn't there. It was hard to have the energy there as a fan when you're simultaneously watching the Broncos annihilate the Chiefs backups. So knowing that we didn't have a chance from the start, it kind of deflects a little bit of the pain of what we felt here today. I'm recording on my phone. Got friends out in my living room. Not going to be able to record on my computer. So we're getting a phone here with this. It made it hard to love the game, to get into the game, and to have fear and excitement. I enjoyed it. It was the last game that I'm going to see the Miami Dolphins play in, 6, 7 months. And then we go through this process over again. It feels like the quickest season I've ever dealt with, the longest season I've ever dealt with. But it is exactly what it is. The Dolphins finished with a losing record, finished with a loss, missed the playoffs for the first time under Mike McDaniel. End the season just like we saw so much of the doldrums of the season where the Dolphins offense can't move the ball, the defense isn't looking that good, can't get to the other team's quarterback. It looked exactly the same as like that Tennessee game, just with some slightly better weapons on the New York Jets side. That's exactly what it felt like to me. And there were some better moments offensively than the Titans game, but the star plays, big plays, were certainly not a dime a dozen. And that's just how the season ends. No playoffs. Mike McDaniel, a lot of questions now. Tua, a lot of questions now. Chris Greer, a lot of questions now. I don't think this team is going to look overtly different, extremely different this time next year. And I think it's going to be something that's disappointing to a lot of you guys, especially based off the comments at the beginning, that so many of you want Tua gone, Mike McDaniel gone, Chris Greer gone. Everybody that has a Dolphins jersey on outside of Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane and Malik Washington and Chop Robinson, everybody else is currently under the axe by all of you guys. This is like the French Revolution right here. And you guys, and myself included at times, are the peasants, and the Dolphins are the royalty that we're trying to banish out of office. And this time I don't think it's going to work. I don't think they're going anywhere. For better or for worse, I think Tua is going to be the quarterback next year. There's no way to get out of this massive contract yet. Mike McDaniel, 8, 9, and 10 wins in your first 3 years. As Dolphins fans, while there is certainly room to complain about Mike McDaniel, we don't have the luxury to be able to fire a coach who has made the playoffs his first 2 years and then misses out on the last day of the season his last year. We don't have the luxury to do so as an organization because we don't have the credibility to do so. We can't just fire a coach that does good, because how many times in my lifetime, in possibly some of your lifetimes, how many times have the Dolphins hit on a head coaching hiring? There's not a lot. There's a lot of Adam Gases out there, all right? There's a lot of mediocrity out there since Don Shula left. Somebody that I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see Dan Marino. All I've known is the Dolphins finding a way to lose games, not competing in the playoffs. I've never seen a playoff game that the Dolphins have won, right? That's where I'm at as a fan. So they don't really have that sort of recent history to be able to say, like, you know what, Mike McDaniel, even though you got to the playoffs twice for us, which since 2001 is, I think, the exact number of times we've gotten to the playoffs before Mike McDaniel showed up, we don't have the ability to say, yeah, I understand how good that was, but you know what? We'll probably find better. Because when do they find better? When has management ever made that right decision? And when there's already solid reports out that Chris Greer is probably going to be moving on either this year or next year, but regardless is the vibe around the situations, it feels like Chris Greer is going to be on the move soon. That's going to be so difficult to go through a coach and GM turnover right now when you're not that hot of a destination. You have a lot of old players or beat up players on expensive contracts. You know, Tua's contract is not very appealing. Yes, he's a talented quarterback. Yes, he's a fringe top 10 quarterback, but he is exactly what he is. He has his limitations, and he is injury prone, and he is smaller, and that's just who he's always going to be. As a head coach, when you have the possibility of Chicago opening up, when you have the possibility of Jacksonville opening up, New England Patriots opening up, with all of that cap space and a young quarterback that has some sort of promise, the Dolphins, you know exactly what you're getting with Tua, and you know what you exactly have to do with Tua. So this is just completely gone off the rails of a game review video because we all knew this was going to be the case. Nobody actually cares about what happened in the game. It was a bad game. The Dolphins stunk. Tyler Huntley stunk. All right, nobody was particularly good outside Devon Achane. That's just exactly what the game was, and that's what a lot of the games have been this year. Devon Achane gets his, nobody else does. That's exactly what today was. On the season, I'm happy for Devon Achane. I'm happy for Zach Sealer. I'm happy for Chop Robinson. There are positives to take away from the season, but this game is just another reflective image of where this Dolphins team is right now. And that is most certainly not on top of the league. We are not in the realm of the Chiefs, of the Ravens, on the NFC, of the Eagles. We're not even on the realm right now of the Commanders, who, yes, they haven't won that playoff game yet, but they're full steam ahead. They just left the starting line, and they're on their path to where they could be potentially, but they're on a damn good trajectory. The Dolphins kind of plateaued. They plateaued this season. I'd rather take the team right now that is on the up, and that's not us. This team is going to look very different. Anthony Weaver, I think he did a really good job as defensive coordinator, but there's talks of him leaving, either whether it be a head coaching job or another defensive coordinating job, which I think is crazy to do a lateral move in the NFL, especially since one of the teams that's thrown out there is the Cleveland Browns. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all to me, but it's possible. So do you really want all of that turnover going on right now in the Miami Dolphins when you can't turn over the most expensive man in the room, the man that was injured this season just like he was a few seasons ago and a few seasons before that? So many injuries, so many costly injuries that Tua has now sustained. His injuries didn't cost him here necessarily, but it cost him earlier in the season with those concussions. You get that Tennessee game back, you get that Indianapolis Colts game back. I mean, even with how the Seattle Seahawks played shortly after playing us, you get the Seahawks again. So there were opportunities for games to be won where you're going into this game tonight as a win and in situation. That doesn't happen, and the Dolphins are exactly where they are. Outside of the playoffs, another season of disappointment. Don't have much else to say besides that. I don't have much else to say about the game. Just, we know what the season is at this point. There is change that we're going to want to see, and we will be getting into those conversations very soon. So if there's a move that you're into that you think the Dolphins should do, whether it's as outlandish as move on from Greer, McDaniel, Tua, everybody, to Greer should stay. Look, I'm just as much a fan as you guys. These are questions that me and Donovan's in my living room right now. He made the video for you guys earlier. Those are the conversations that him and I have off camera. So we want to have these conversations with you guys. Hopefully we can do some more live streams. We've both been really caught up with work, so maybe that's something we can get back into to keep y'all entertained throughout the offseason. We really appreciate the numbers y'all been doing a lot recently. Appreciate all the comments, even though most of y'all, just like myself, are pretty displeased. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your subjects that you want us to hear talk about for the offseason. Go check out Green Gridiron. I keep talking about these helmets, dude. These things are sexy right here, all right? I wake up every morning. That's the first thing I see when I look to my left. It is a beautiful throwback helmet. They have the regular size. They have these mini replicas. Go get yourself one of those. Link down below in the description. While down there, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Appreciate y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.